All right, good afternoon, guys. This is Nithar Ramachandra from the Enter Hour Sports Show. This is episode 921. I'm joined by a really special guest. His name is Rison. He's a former NFL wide receiver. He played in the Central Football League. He went to college at Michigan State. He won the Super Bowl with the Green Bay Packers and, man, five-time Pro Bowl. And he just got nominated for the 2022 Hall of Fame. So I can't wait for that. We're going to talk about his career, his legendary career, and the other things he's getting into right now. And he has a book called Wide Open. Everyone go check that out. It's a really good book. And Andre, I just want to give a big shout out to your PR person, Camila, for setting this up. This is truly an honor. And thank you again for joining the show. And how are you and your family doing today?
Oh, man, appreciate it. Thanks for having us. We're doing good. Yeah, we're doing good. Trying to enjoy this last little warm weather we got up here in Michigan. It's fall weather.
Yeah, so before we get started, I just want to say no disrespect to Jerry Rice, Terrell Owens, and all those other great receivers. Andre Rison name should be more recognized because this guy, your career, man, you had an amazing career. Obviously, Super Bowl champ, five-time Pro Bowl, and the numbers you put up, it's unbelievable. And for you to finally get nominated for the Pro Football Hall of Fame, what does that mean to you? Like just to finally get nominated for this?
I mean, it's an honor in itself, and flattering. You work hard to achieve that goal to be one of the best of your peers, and so I'm glad that that my name is mentioned now amongst the 22 nominees, and just very grateful. And my closest fans feel the same way. A lot of people was like, long time overdue, and this and that, but you only can control what you can control. And so that's what I try to do. And, I never get into arguments or debates about numbers or anything. I just tell people when I retired, I probably retired in the top 5 all time in pretty much all the categories, top 10 for sure, in all time categories. And so I don't get into the debates about it. I just know I start out to be one of the greatest, and it's a great honor.
Yeah, so I want to start off with your childhood growing up from Flint, Michigan, and obviously you got to stay close to home going to Michigan State. But growing up, what was it like growing up as a kid there? And obviously there's a lot of great talented players that came out of Flint, Michigan. So when did you get interested in the game of football, and who was your biggest role model in that?
I got interested in the game at an early age, being around my uncles, my granddad, watching the game and listening to it on the radio. Really, I don't think the kids of this generation can listen to a ball game, like we had to. We had to envision ourselves as the player that we looked up to and heard on the radio, because a lot of games were played not on television, and so you had to dream about it. You also had to, you had to be creative about it as a kid, and there was so much competition back then. There were more kids in school back then at that time than there is now. And so all the players were naturally going to be better because you played against better competition. And I came along at a great time to want to be the best and want to be the greatest to ever do something. And so I took heed to it. I knew what I had to do as far as scholastic was concerned. You can't do anything without the grades. And so we knew we had to take care of that part regardless of our financial situations, coming up in a single parent home with a little brother, little sister, and my mom, just my mom. There was a support system there with family, but the initial family is just you 4 people. And you got to find a way and make a way to survive. And I knew my mom couldn't afford to put me through college with her pay. And so we buckled down in school. A couple good friends of mine that went on also to make the professional ranks in the NBA and also the NFL. We just buckled down and trusted, that this was the path that God wanted us on. And here we are, Hall of Fame nominee in class of 22 in the NFL.
Yeah, so speaking of your family, family is really important for athletes, especially in this industry. And for you, what was it like? How tough is it for you seeing your mom, obviously single mom, and but how hard she worked and making her proud throughout your career? So what was it like just seeing your mom go out there working hard and helping her out at the same time and while working on your craft?
there's a respect there, a child and parent respect there, but a lot of times we were like brothers and sisters at some point in time. I had a young mom, and so she played an integral part throughout my career, on and off the field. And I wouldn't trade her in for anything.
Yeah, so tell our fans, in high school, what was your high school career like? And did you get to, before choosing wide receiver, did you get to play any other positions throughout your career before settling on receiver?
Yeah, I didn't. I really didn't play receiver. I started playing receiver really in college.
Mhm.
I played a little bit, couple plays here and there in high school, but um, I didn't play receiver until I got to college. And I was a basketball player, baseball player, track guy, all that stuff. And so I played DB, defensive back, but most nights in high school, I played about 8 positions a night, 9 positions.
Wow. Uh, Speaking of playing multiple sports, how important is it now in this generation? Obviously, you see kids now playing multiple sports, and before choosing the sport they want to play eventually in their career. So, how important is it to learn different aspects of each sport, especially track? Because we had a lot of people on the show that did track before choosing NFL or NBA. So, how important is it to learn different sports and play different sports?
I think it's admirable, for the simple fact you can learn so much from another kid in another sport, from your opponents and also your teammates. And then sometimes, it's great too for the motivation of um, the imperative of, you're not going to be the best in the next sport that you go to.
Yeah.
And so you learn how to play the role. You become a role player. You become a positional player, and it teaches team concept, in that individual, within that individual that's going from sport to sport. Um, I was fortunate and lucky, very lucky to have the skill set to go from sport to sport and be at the top of it. But some of the athletes that didn't transfer to the next sport, they just felt maybe they couldn't compete or they just didn't have a skill set. We weren't like that coming up. We played baseball, soccer, all of it. And each sport, you will find yourself using the other sport at some point in time, while you're in competition.
Yeah, so tell our friends about your college recruitment process back in the day, and obviously being from Flint, Michigan, you chose Michigan State. And how many other offers did you get? Scholarship offers did you get, and what made you choose Michigan State?
Um, a lot of times in hindsight, you say you choose the wrong, you chose the wrong school. Um, we all make decisions in our life that sometimes you might think you made the wrong decision. In hindsight, you're always going to be right. So as a kid, it's hard, man, picking a school. Some kids pick schools because of the uniform and the colors, and then you got kids that pick it for the right reasons, and that's very seldomly ever did though. We that college decision is crucial. It can make or break you. I'm glad that they have the portal now, where um, a kid can decide, if he sees his situation not working out, not to be spoiled or anything, but to use it to his advantage. You can transfer
Hmm.
and go showcase your talent, showcase your skill set. I I believe if I would have had that, I probably would have transferred
Right.
out of Michigan State. Once I got there, I realized it was a run-oriented school like that, but it taught me how to be a pro. So it's just, it's just pros and cons to it. But it's a hell of a decision to make. You come out of high school and you got to pick. You got all these people breathing down your back
Yeah.
where they want you to go. So now you add in, now you're getting paid.
Yeah.
Now you're getting paid on the collegiate level. So that's another bone to configure in on the choice where you go to school at now. And so we didn't have that, and these kids now have it these days. And so you just got to be very candid and have a great team around you that care about you first, and then the sports second.
Yeah. So, what was the feeling like? How relieved were you when you saw once you signed the letter of content to Michigan State, and obviously being with your family there, and seeing and being able to have your family go to your home games in Michigan State? What was that feeling like once you committed to Michigan State?
I mean, it's always good to look up in the stands and see people that you know. All the players do it, whether they want to admit it or not. Each player probably knows his mom's voice, or his dad's yell, scream, sister scream, yeah, we look for it. It's part of the game. Fans make the game, and so being able to pick a college and you went to the same, it's in the same state that you went in high school, junior high, elementary. Those same people get a chance to watch you grow as a person, but as a player, and enjoy those moments too, the ups and downs, the wins and losses. So,
Yeah.
I feel like I believe that's probably a makeup of Andre Rison's career. Andre Rison's career is the fans being able to have it in their hands, and that's primarily playing in the same state, and then also being able to get drafted by a Midwestern team as well, the Indianapolis Colts. So that name stayed in the Midwest Big Ten region for a long time.
Yeah. So for you, what was it like playing for Michigan State? And obviously the fan base, they are one of the best fan bases in college football, in my opinion. And what was it like wearing that green and white jersey in your college career there?
Oh man, I used to wear my jersey to the club.
Yeah.
I wore my jersey to the nightclub, man.
Nice.
I wanted to let everybody know I was a Spartan, and then we put the dog on it. I'm part half responsible. It's one more half. It's only two people that created the Spartan dog. We were the first ones that ever said, and we take it with pride. Be a Spartan. There's a certain type of mystique you have to have when you sign up with the Spartans as a student athlete, and you only know it if you are Spartan.
Yeah, so tell our fans about your draft experience. Obviously, you got drafted in 1989, round one, pick 22 by the Indianapolis Colts. And what was that like? Take us back to your draft experience, being with your family, and take us to your combine. What was your combine process like? And once you got your name called by the Colts, what was that like?
Oh man, that's like breaking in the bank and don't have to go to jail. Chance to change a lot of people's lives, including yourself. But you just know you got a lot of work ahead of you because you just made the National Football League. Top game of the games. You know what I'm saying? There's no game 7 in the Super Bowl. There's one game, and so now you're playing in it to get to it. And so I had already won state championships. I had already won Rose Bowl titles, Big Ten titles, all that stuff. And now it was time to compete for a world championship, a Super Bowl. So things changed. It became a business, so to speak.
Yeah, so speaking of the Colts, obviously you got to play with Eric Dickerson, a great running back in the NFL, and now he's doing great things on TV. And obviously, when you come into training camp and getting ready for the season, and you see a roster of a great talent, and like I said, Eric Dickerson, playing with Eric Dickerson, what was that like for you?
That was a dream come true. He was my idol coming up. I was an Eric Dickerson fan all the way through. If you know Andre Rison. And then he became a big brother, throughout my career as well, on and off the field. And then we played together again in Atlanta for the Falcons. And I just was just real lucky, to be on a team with somebody of that magnitude. Eric Dickerson is big.
Yeah. So what was it like playing for the Colts? Obviously, a great franchise, and obviously another great fan base. And just tell me, they have a lot of history too, and a lot of great talented players throughout the history too. So what was it like playing for the Colts?
When you see that Colts out, you think Johnny Unitas.
Yep.
Right off bat, and then the guy named Peyton Manning came along and made you think, in the modern era, think of Peyton Manning when you see that Colt helmet, Marvin Harrison, the Reggie Waynes, the Super Bowl champs are the Colts. But the Colts had way more history way before that. And I was able to see that as a kid. And Lydell Mitchell, great players that they had, Mike Curtis. I was able to see that as a kid, and so I appreciated it. I was giddy about being a coach because I knew the coach history as being a historian of the game at a young age.
Yeah, so not obviously NFL is a tough business, and do you ever think to yourself maybe you could have spent the whole career with the Colts, but obviously you got to play with the Falcons, Browns, Jaguars, Packers, where you won the Super Bowl, Kansas City Chiefs, Raiders, and you played in CFL. But tell our fans what experiences and what did you learn from each different team, like with the Falcons, Browns, Jaguars, Packers, and the Chiefs and Raiders, and then the CFL league because I know NFL is a tough business and it can hurt the player sometimes. But for you, how did you adapt with it, moving from team to team?
It's a business. You got to go where where there's work. So uh, as long as you can stay applicable and be a great teammate, you don't have any control too much of where you end up and where you land, but a little bit. And so in a lot of those cases, I was a free agent. In one case I got traded. So yeah. That just goes with the territory of the game. Who would think that Joe Montana would be playing with Kansas City Chiefs?
Right.
Who would think Jerry Rice would be playing with the Seattle Seahawks? And stuff like that. Who would think Ronnie Lott would be playing with the Oakland Raiders?
Right.
You just don't think like that. You think that you're going to be with one organization the whole time, and it's not like that. And you shouldn't prepare your mind like that. You hope for the best, but you shouldn't put all your eggs in one basket because if you look in the proof and the pudding and the analytic side of it, you're going to play more than one team. You're going to play for multiple teams, and so that's why I love the fans of the NFL. They know it. So one time your player is playing for your rival, and the next week he's playing for you.
Yeah.
So, it comes with the territory. Who thought Brett Favre would play somewhere in Minnesota after his Green Bay stint, even though he was an Atlanta Falcon first. So then he became a New York Jet. So now that's 4 or 5 teams. Who would think that? So it's all about the business, man.
Yeah, so before I want to ask you about the Packers team, your Packers career, but before we get to that, I'll tell our fans what would you say your best moments and your best memories that you had before you went to the Packers?
The best moments before going to the Packers?
Yeah.
Man, just being able to wake up every day and go to work, be healthy and compete. Yeah, them about the happiest days right there. Yeah, those are about the happiest days, being able to get up, man, and go and compete and still do it at the highest level.
Yeah, so now going to the Packers, I mean, obviously you got to play with Brett Favre, a legendary quarterback, and what was that like winning a Super Bowl with that team? And tell our friends about that Super Bowl season. And obviously it's always tough to win a Super Bowl the championship in every sport. So what was like the one message that your coach gave you guys in that season to be able to accomplish that goal?
Our coach was always even kill. He wasn't too high, he wasn't too low. He just wanted perfection. Mike Holmgren, but those guys are my best of friends, even to this day. So when you win a championship, it's for real. Especially when it's a world title and you win it in Green Bay, title town. That adds an extra. That's the icing on the cake, because you don't win it by yourself. Bart Starr, Paul Hornung, great ones. They come along with it. Herb Alderly, everybody, they come along with it. All the Green Bay Ghosts, they come with it. So it's very unique. A lot of organizations can win Super Bowls and world titles, but it's different when you win it with the Green Bay Packers. Most definitely.
Yeah, so obviously your head coach was Mike Holmgren. So what was it like playing underneath him? And obviously he's a great coach too. So what was it like learning from him underneath him?
Mike was cool. you know, at that point in my career, I'm a savvy vet at that time.
Yeah.
Uh, he knew he had a great team. You don't get in the way of what he had. He knew how not to. And a lot of coaches don't know how to do that. You got a team, Brett Favre, Reggie White, you know, Andre Rison, Dorsey Levens, you know, the list goes on and on. You know, Sean Jones.
Yep.
Desmond Howard ended up being MVP, but he was a Heisman Trophy winner. So you got you got a lot of juice in the room, you know. And he was real smooth about it. I will tip my hat to that.
Yeah. So tell us about the practices you guys had. Obviously, the Packers had a great defense that year, and I'm sure you got to go against Leroy Butler during practices. So if you did, what was that like? Obviously, a great defensive back.
Oh, the what? That's my boy. You know, very smart. Should have been in the Hall of Fame. Just as a football player, he should have made the Hall of Fame. Tackles and being in the right place and getting people and putting people in the right place. Leadership, all those type of qualities. Being undersized at a safety. But you never knew it. You know, you didn't. The name wasn't undersized. Leroy Butler wasn't. 36. He made 36 look good. You know, I ain't never seen nobody make 36 look good like that. You know, he made 36 look good. So I always respected him all the way from Florida State, all the way through the pros. He's been a constant pro, been solid off the field. Should have been, like I say, should have been in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. So going back to the Super Bowl, after you guys won that Super Bowl, what was the first thing you guys did? Do you guys go to the club, smoke cigars, and what did you guys do after winning that?
Oh man, Stogies and champagne, baby. Stogies and champagne, you know what I'm saying? Everything else stays in Vegas. Everything else stays in Vegas.
Yep.
Stogies and champagne, man. That's all I can remember.
Yeah. So, but after the Packers, though, you went to the Chiefs and Raiders. But I want to ask you about your CFL experience, because what was that transition like, going from the NFL to the CFL? And obviously, you played for the Toronto. Correct me if I'm saying this wrong. Argonauts, I think it's called.
Argonauts.
Yeah, Argonauts. Yeah. What was that like going?
Argonauts. That was cool. You know, it was a different experience, a different game, but the same game. It's football. Run it, throw it, tackle, score touchdowns, kick field goals. It was same thing, man. But it was so much fun having to learn at that age a new game.
Yeah.
That was the fun part. Then ended up winning the world title. We ended up winning the Grey Cup. So in all, it was a great experience, you know, and it was well worth it for sure. I probably was playing my best football. Ironically, I probably was playing because I think I was two years maybe removed, retired to 2 or 3, maybe more, but it gave my legs time to rest. And because I played all them sports coming up as a kid, then I played through the NFL, played wide receiver, so I'm running my whole life. Track, I'm running my whole life. Soccer, running my whole life. Basketball, I'm running my whole life. And so that was the first time I ever had a break when I retired. That was the first time I ever had a break. And so when I went back to the Canadian League, I was running 4-4.
Wow.
Cutting on a dime, and you know, it's crazy. I'm at playing weight now.
Oh, is there a chance maybe we can see Andre Rison come back? No, probably.
Yeah, are you crazy? I couldn't remember none of the plays. And all the concussions I done had, I don't need no more. I can't remember that. I don't need another concussion.
Yeah.
You know, but I can't remember the plays. If somebody tackled me, I'm probably more than likely going to prison.
Oh. No, but yeah, I want to talk about tell us about your 1993 season. That's when you led the NFL in receiving touchdowns. And are you the type of player that cares about like the goal, the records or the numbers for you, or the type of player as long as you guys win the championship? And but just take us back to the 1993 season and when you were the NFL leading touchdown leader, co-leader.
I mean, when you're trying to be the greatest, you don't think about none of that stuff. Because all that stuff comes with the territory.
Yeah.
If you're the man, if you're the go-to guy, if you're the one, you're gonna have stats. You know, the other thing is once you become the one, once you beat the players out, beat your peers out at your own position, and become the one target, then you got to go win games. So in the games that put you in the big games, and the big games that make you all pro, make you all American, make you all Pro Bowler. So I never really looked at stats. We just looked at the end of the hookup. At the end of the season, we needed to be in the playoffs. Because if I'm in the playoffs, I know I'm scoring touchdowns.
Right.
I know I'm going to make plays. So then your name is up in the mix of, being the greatest and playing in the big games, playing in the great games. And look at Lynn Swan. Lynn Swan has no stats.
Mm-hmm.
He got 3 rings and a yellow jacket. But he has no stats whatsoever, compared to probably the top 50. You might not even see his name.
Right.
Statistically wise. But put on them big games. And every time you cut on a highlight for Pittsburgh Steelers winning the title, you see number 88. That's that yellow jacket right there. That's that yellow jacket. So I don't get caught up in the numbers like that. You got, take for instance, I'll draft Andre Johnson first pick overall all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But look how he had to put up his numbers in Houston down there with the Texans.
Yeah.
It was all grimy yards that he had to get, and I respect that more so than somebody benefiting from the system of like, look at me, I caught 100 passes, but he's just raising up and just throwing it to you, They get no love.
Andre Johnson was a heck of a receiver, and I'm hoping he gets into Hall of Fame too because he what a great talent he is. A great receiver, and I really do hope he gets into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he will one day.
Yeah.
He will.
So I want to ask you about So obviously you got to spend time with the Raiders, and what was that like for you playing with the Oakland now Las Vegas Raiders, but playing with Rich Gannon? You had Tim Brown. You played with Charles Woodson, Hall of Famer Charles Woodson, and you played with Eric Allen. And what was that like playing for the Raiders and the teammates I just mentioned?
That was dope. That was really awesome. That was those group of guys were real Raiders. They were the Raiders. We should have won a couple Super Bowls with that team.
Yeah.
We lost in the AFC title game to the Ravens, and then the next year they ended up going to the Super Bowl but not winning. But that team was dynamite. We had the late Darrell Russell.
Yeah.
We were loaded, man. They had great corners. The Hall of Famer Charles Woodson. You couldn't beat us. We had monsters up front on defense. Our offensive line just was enormous. Led the league in rushing with Tyrone Wheatley and Randy Jordan and Napoleon Kaufman. You can give me that backfield any day. I'm gonna beat you. I'm gonna beat you. I'm gonna beat you, man. And so I will always remember that team. We had awesome special teams too, with David Dunn and those guys. we just that one right there rubs me the most the wrong way because I knew we should have won 2 titles. And Kansas City rubbed me the wrong way too because in '97 we should have won it. We should have won it, but shoulda, woulda, coulda, you know.
Yeah. So speaking of obviously Charles Woodson, what was it like just seeing him go at practice every day and obviously on the field and now he's a Hall of Famer. And I'm just curious, did he get to go to this year's Hall of Fame?
No, I didn't get a chance to go down COVID and all this stuff, man. You know, with the kids and everything. So we just played everything by ear. But what a player, super duper player. Both Woodsons remind me of each other, Charles and Rod, and both of them Big Ten players, and both of them great guys, and both of them, winning TV and follow the same path a lot. Corner, safety, punt return, kick return, play a little wide receiver. That's who he reminded me of when he came out of college. And I knew he would be a great football player, but he just took the tops off when, he just showed everybody he could do everything on an even professional level. So when I see him going in the hall, I feel very, very proud of him. And, we're still good friends. I just talked to him the day before yesterday, so a couple days. Yeah.
Yeah, so obviously you got to play with Coach John Gruden, and obviously I saw your post recently on Instagram. You posted about John Gruden, and obviously he's been in the news recently. But what was he like as a coach for you, and how big an impact has he made in your career?
Johnny and I are real close, and that's unfortunate. What happened. We live in today and time of everything's exposed. People say derogatory comments all the time about each other. When you see them in the workplace, in the work habitat, and it's exposed, this day and time, it gets viewed.
Yeah.
Not only just by one source, but by millions. And so the narrative is painted real fast, real quick, like a landslide. And so I believe he'll bounce back. I believe his comments were directed for who they were directed to. It had nothing to do with the whole global effect that it had.
Right.
And the intent was really a boxing match, And boxers say all kind of stuff to each other before the fight. And I believe he really wanted to fight who he was talking about. I believe he doesn't like who he was talking about.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So do you think he'll get another chance somewhere?
Nah.
No.
In the National Football League.
Yeah.
No. But Gruden's probably cool. Apologetic. You can only apologize and be sincere. And then you got life to live, man.
Yeah.
Nobody out here perfect.
Yeah, so this is a two-part question now. So looking back at your career, obviously, like I said earlier, legendary career. Obviously, Super Bowl champ, 5-time Pro Bowl, great Cup champion. You put up 743 receptions, over 10,000 yards, over 84 receiving touchdowns. And how grateful are you to be in this position? Obviously, NFL touchdowns leader, and now you have a book out there called Wide Open. And obviously, you're a girl dad. And so, how grateful are you to be in this position right now?
Oh man, always thankful and always grateful. You gotta have faith. You gotta have faith in something. And the best one to have faith in is the higher power. And it's gonna be some days that'll be better than others.
Yeah.
But at least you got the opportunity. So you gotta seize the opportunity. That's all. And the book is it's called Wide Open. It's very inspirational for people that doubt themselves and people that's insecure. in a split second time, in real time, because I believe in the reality of being real. It is what you see. If you see something, it ain't something that you can make up. It's what you see. And so I've always viewed life like that. I view people like that. And if you treat people how you want to be treated, the cliche saying, more than likely you'll be treated the right way in the end. In between, anything can happen. But more than likely, if you treat people the right way, you'll see some type of prosperity in the end.
Yeah, so speaking of the book, Wide Open, tell our fans where can they find the book, and obviously it's I looked at it online, it's amazing, and where can our fans find the book and other people?
They can go to Andre Rison, wideopen.com, and that's Andre Rison, wideopen.com, and you can pre-order the book. Like I said, it's a great book. It's got some great picks in it, and you also can go on there and vote for the Hall of Fame, NFL Hall of Fame class of 22. You also can vote on there as well. And go on there, man, and have fun with it. I'm having fun with it. I'm just grateful and thankful to be a part of this movement.
Hey, we're definitely, our team is, we're going to promote your stuff, and we're definitely going to vote for you, man. And but a couple more things here though. So speaking of girl dad and having daughters, and what advice would you give to young athletes, young girls, or young kids, even all the kids out there right now, and even your kids? What advice would you give them?
Take time with them. Take time out with them. Can't stress it enough. And then you'll find what you need to do within that time that you're taking out with them. You get to know them and listen. Listen to what they have to say. Let them talk. They only got so many little breaths up in there, as it is. Let them talk and get away from asking the same old with the melodic, hey, how's your day? How you been doing? Cut the phony shit out and let them talk and see who they are. And let them be little people. And you'll find out that you'll never want to leave them. Find out you'll never want to leave them, and you'll never want to lead them the wrong way. And so that sharpens you up and makes you even more accountable.
So, so what are your thoughts overall on this NFL season? Obviously, we're ready into week 6. So what are your thoughts overall on this season? And who's your favorite receiver right now to watch?
Devontae Adams,
Mm-hmm.
Ridley down in Atlanta, Hopkins now out in Arizona. Love watching those guys. The young fellas too. I love watching Jefferson in Minnesota, and the young fella that just went to Cincinnati Bengals.
Oh, Jamar Chase.
Love watching those guys. We'll go to work. Then, one of my favorites is Keenan out in San Diego. And he goes to work. He brings the lunch bell.
Yep.
Hey man, some great young receivers, and I just enjoy. It looks like they're starting to turn the table, wanting to be great instead of just the $20 million a year. Looks like they're turning the table on. I can see some of them getting better now. That means they're working in the off season.
Yeah, so I'm a big Dallas Cowboy fan, and what are your thoughts on CeeDee Lamb?
I like CeeDee Lamb. I like CeeDee Lamb. It's good. We got Dak back. We got Dak back in his pocket. So that could be a special combination for a long time, depending on. He reminds me of Antonio Brown a lot. Yeah, he reminds me of Antonio. People forget Antonio was a great returner too.
Yeah.
Before he became a great receiver, he was a great returner. So that's who I see Lamb as.
Oh wow, that's a great comparison right there. Yeah. So before we get to the last two things, this is $1 million question. Where do you keep your Super Bowl ring and the Grey Cup champion?
Man, my Super Bowl ring is in the mail. It's on its way. I had it buffed up, shined up a little bit. Wanted the diamonds cleaned up a little bit, and that's on its way. What was question 2?
Oh, the question too, where do you keep your Grey Cup trophy?
That's on his way as well.
Oh, nice.
It's right next to it. It's getting the diamonds shined up and buffed out. So I can bling bling, you know.
Yeah.
Bling bling.
So the last two things here before we let you go, and our team is part of this foundation. It's called the Hugh Jackson Foundation. He's a former NFL coach. I'm sure you know him, and he's now the offensive coordinator at Tennessee State with Eddie George. And we're trying to help him prevent human trafficking and making sure the community stays safe, the kids stay safe, and we'll send you the foundation so you can go check it out.
Most definitely. I know Coach Hugh. Tell Coach Hugh I said hello.
Yeah, we will. And the last thing here, would you like to say anything to all the nurses, doctors, and all the essential workers right now?
Oh yeah, thank you for all your works and your efforts ever since COVID started. From day one, you've been ground zero, and we just like to thank you not only from Lights On Publishing and Andre Rison and family, we also from the National Football League too.
Yeah, well said. And there it is. That wraps up episode 921 with Super Bowl champ from Michigan State, Andre Rison. Now he just got nominated for the Pro Football Hall of Fame 2022. Go check his book out, Wide Open also. Go follow him on all social media formats. What a great career, legendary career. I'm telling you, man, Andre Rison, he is one of the top receivers, in my opinion, in the game right now. Go follow him. And we had a great career. And thank you again for coming on. Thank you again for your PR person, Camila, for setting this up. And we would like to have you back on the show at some point down the line so you can meet the full team. But thank you again, man.
Thank you.
Yep.